Hello students, today we are going to study about surds. First of all, in this lecture we are going to understand what do we mean by surds. Then further we are going to see some of the very important algebraic properties regarding surds. We will see how rationalization is done, and finally through some solved examples we are going to understand all the properties of surds more clearly. So let's start this lecture. Let us first try to understand what is the nth root. The nth root of a number x is a number r which when raised to the power of n equals x. That is, r to the power of n is equal to x. Now what is the nth root? Nth root of any number x is the number r which when raised to the power of n equals x. So when we raise r to the index n, then we get the number as x. So the nth root of x would be equal to r. The condition for a rational number to have an nth root which is rational is that the powers of the prime occurring in its prime factorization should be a multiple of n. So if we want to have the nth root of a rational number as rational, then the condition is that the powers of prime occurring in its prime factorization should be a multiple of n. So if we factorize any number into its prime factors, and if the index is a multiple of n, then we get a rational nth root. Let's try to understand it through an example. Let us say that we have a number 27 by 64. Now 27 by 64 can be written as 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4. Or we can say that 27 by 64 is equal to the cube of 3 by 4. So 27 by 64 can be written as the cube of 3 by 4. Now, if I want to find out the third root of 27 by 64, then that would be equal to 3 by 4 whole cube whole to the power of 1 by 3. I want to find out the third root. So now 3 into 1 by 3 would be equal to 1, and so we get the third root as equal to 3 by 4, which is a rational number. So what do you see here? That if you want to have the nth root as a rational number, then the index to which this number is raised should be a multiple of 3. So what do we see? We get a rational number as the third root of 27 by 64. This is a rational number. But now if I want to find out the fourth root, then it would be equal to 3 by 4 whole cube to the power of 1 by 4. Now 3 into 1 by 4, that is the exponent of 3 by 4 is not a multiple of 4. And so what do we get? We get this as 3 by 4 to the power of 3 by 4. And this is an irrational number. So we see that the third root is a rational number, but the fourth root of 27 by 64 is an irrational number because the exponent here is a multiple of 3. But here the exponent of 3 by 4 is not a multiple of the fourth root. So we get it as an irrational number. So again, the condition is that for a rational number to have nth root which is a rational number, then the powers of prime occurring in its prime factorization should be a multiple of n. Now let's see how do we denote the nth root of any number a. Now the nth root of any number a is written as the nth root of a. Now this is an expression to denote that we are finding out the nth root of the number a. Now there are two cases. Either a can be expressed as a perfect nth power, or n is a non-perfect nth power. In the case when a is a perfect nth power, or when we express a in terms of its prime factors, then the index of these prime factors is a multiple of a. Then the nth root of a is fully resolved, or we get a rational number as the nth root of a. But when a is a non-perfect nth power, then this is not resolved. It remains unresolved, and in such a case when it is unresolved, then we call them as surds. So what is surd? When a is a non-perfect nth power, then the nth root cannot be fully resolved, and in such a case we call it as a surd. So simply when a is a perfect nth power, we get a rational number as a nth root, but when a is non-perfect nth power, then a is not resolved into its prime factors, or we get an irrational number as the nth root of a, and these are known as surds. Now very important thing to note is that all the surds are irrational numbers, but all the irrational numbers are not surds. So we can say that surd is a subset of irrational numbers. Now we denote the nth root of any number a in this way. So this is known as the radical sign. Now if n is equal to 2, then it is known as the square root of a. If n is equal to 3, it is known as the cube root of a. If n is equal to 4, then it's known as the fourth root of a, and so on. So this expression is known as a radical. Now what is a known as? A is known as radicand, and n is known as the index of surd. Now this is a surd in which n is the index of surd. A is called as the radicand, and this entire expression is known as radical. Now there's a very important thing to note. All surds are irrational numbers, but not all irrational numbers are surds. So this is very important to note that all the surds belong to the set of irrational numbers, but all the irrational numbers are not surds. There can be some irrational numbers which are not surds. So the set of surds is a subset of the set containing all the irrational numbers. Now there are two types of surds. Either the surds can be pure surds or they can be mixed surds. Now, so what are pure surds? In the case of pure surds, the entire number is under the nth root sign. In the case of mixed surds, the number is of the form b into the nth root of a, and it is known as a mixed surd. So you see that there's a number which is outside the under root sign, and a is a number which is inside the nth root sign. Let's take an example of pure surds. Root 2, root 28, the cube root of 16, all these are numbers which are inside the nth root sign, and so these are in the form of pure surds. An example of mixed surds would be 3 root 2, 5 root 7. In all these numbers we see that 3 is a number which is outside the under root sign, 5 is a number which is outside the root sign, and 7 is a number which is inside the root sign. So this number all belong to the set of mixed surds. So the condition for pure surds is that the entire number should be under the nth root sign. In the case of mixed surds, it is of the form of b into the nth root of a. So here b is a number which is outside the nth root sign, and a is a number which is inside the nth root sign. Now let's see some of the very important properties of surds. Now in most of the cases we are going to take n as equal to 2. So we are going to study the properties of square roots. Now these properties can very well be applied to the cube roots, the fourth roots, the fifth roots, and so on. For our convenience, we are going to take n as equal to 2. So the first property is that under root of a into under root of b is equal to under root of ab. This is a very important property, that under root of a into under root of b could be written in a simplified form as under root of a into b. We multiply both these numbers which are inside the square root sign, and we get this as a simplified version of this. The second is, if a is equal to d to the power of n into b, then the nth root of a would be equal to d into the nth root of b. So if we can write a as equal to d to the power of n into b, here the index of d is equal to n. Then in such a case, the nth root of a would be equal to d into the nth root of b. For example, let us take the number as equal to 12. Now 12 can be written as equal to 2 square into 3. Now if I want to calculate the square root of 12, then that could be written as 2 into root 3. We have simply used this property. The third property is under root of a into under root of a is equal to a. So if we multiply a into a, then that would be equal to under root of a square, and the under root of a square would be equal to a. Thus we get under root of a into under root of a equal to a. From this, what we get? A divided by root a would be equal to root a. So a when divided by under root of a would be equal to root a. The fourth property is under root of a square would always be equal to modulus of a, because the square root of a number is always positive. As we know that the square root of a number is always positive, so we take the under root of a square as equal to modulus of a. We want this to be positive. That is why we are using a modulus sign over here. Look, minus 3 into minus 3 would also be equal to 9, and 3 into 3 would also be equal to 9. When we are to find out the square root of 9, then that would not be equal to plus minus 3. That would be equal to 3, because the square root of any number is always positive. And that is why we write under root of a square as equal to modulus of a. Now these were some of the very important properties regarding the surds. So let's solve an example. Simplify the surds. The first is cube root of 48 and the second is under root of 125. So we have to simplify these expressions. Cube root of 48 and the second is the under root of 125. Now the first part is cube root of 48. Now 48 can be written as 2 to the power of 4 into 3. We have factorized 48 in terms of its prime factors. This can further be written as 48 equal to 2 cube into 2 into 3. Now 2 into 3 is equal to 6. So this could be written as 2 cube into 6. 48 is equal to 2 cube into 6. So the cube root of 48 would be equal to the cube root of this expression and the cube root of 6. Now the cube root of 2 cube would be equal to 2 and this would remain the same. So the cube root of 48 is equal to 2 into the cube root of 6. So we have expressed this pure surd in the form of a mixed surd. The second part is under root of 125. Now again we have to express this pure surd in terms of a mixed surd. Now we also know that 125 is equal to 5 cube. Now 5 cube can be written as 5 square into 5. 5 square because we have to find out the square root. So we are expressing this prime factor in multiples of 2. So under root of 125 would be equal to, we take out the square root of this number into the square root of 5. So this would be equal to 5 into root 5. So under root of 125 is equal to 5 root 5. So we have expressed this pure surd as a mixed surd. We shall see some of the very important operations on surds. The first is the nth root of a plus nth root of b bracket into the nth root of c would be equal to nth root of a into nth root of c plus nth root of b into nth root of c. So we see that we have used the distributive property over here. So the distributive property is valid when it comes to the operations on surds. Now this could further be written as the nth root of a into c plus the nth root of b into c. Now the second operation is a minus b could be written as a product of two factors. The first factor is under root of a minus under root of b and the second factor is under root of a plus under root of b. So if we multiply both these factors, we get a minus b. So a minus b can be resolved into the product of two factors, the first factor being under root of a minus under root of b and the second factor being under root of a plus under root of b. The third operation is under root of a plus under root of b whole square is equal to a plus b plus 2 times under root of ab. Here we have used the formula that x plus y whole square is equal to x square plus y square plus 2 times xy. Now here x is equal to root a and y is equal to root b. So this would be equal to square of root a plus square of root b plus 2 times root a into root b. Now square of root a would be equal to a. Similarly the square of root b would be equal to b and the product of 2 into root a into root b would be equal to 2 times under root of ab. And so the root of a plus root of b whole square could be written as a plus b plus 2 times under root of ab. So these were some of the very important operations on surds.